So I said I was going to bring you a new video on Jeremy Dewitte. So this is Jeremy Dewitte 2023. He's pretty much been off the radar since his release from jail this year. He has a whole bunch of pending felonies, which he's already a convicted felon. And you can look all those records up, court documents, down in Orlando. You can do it right online and get all of that stuff. I've covered it many, many times in previous videos, but he's been kind of radio silent. Motor One hasn't been moving much. And well, his mistress, girlfriend, and I assume he's living with her now. I don't know what's going on as far as his personal life, nor do I really care. He's a Florida man, so there's no telling what's going on with it. But he is our favorite Special Forces phony major jumped into Fallujah guy, and he's still living the lie. Now, I don't know what's going on with his girlfriend. I don't know if they're having a little rocky spell, because she does have a YouTube channel. I dated a police impersonator. It's hilarious. So when she gets pissed off at him, she starts making videos that show him in a questionable light. And it's I don't think he knows that she's got that YouTube channel out there. Otherwise, there'd probably be some domestic stuff involved. But I'm going to play you a little video I put together. It's going to start off with him living the lie, as always. He was involved in a little minor fender bender. A guy cut over in front of him, and he actually hit him in the left rear corner panel. A little bit of paint transfer. Nothing more than a paper exchange around here, but of course it's Jeremy Dewitte, so it's going to be this big blown up thing. But let's listen to him still living the lie, and then we're going to get into some of his previous claims. And, of course, I'll show my MPRC letter, and we'll talk a little bit about what we found. So here we go.
Afghanistan, Iraq, make sure I know what I'm fucking talking about.
Afghanistan and Iraq, make sure I know what I'm fucking talking about. He's still living a lie. He's still spewing this stuff out. It rolls off of his tongue like it actually happened. And he was never in the military. Yeah, it'd be really cool if he goes to a federal pen, and then Kaiser goes to a federal pen, and they end up being bunk buddies. That'd be hilarious to see who could tell the best story. That would be awesome. But again, his mistress / girlfriend posted this on her YouTube channel. Doesn't show him in a very good light. And he's still living the lie. Still living the lie. And the internet is forever. And I have posted many, 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 many videos on him. I've even covered a lot of his court stuff, which I usually don't do. But it boggles the mind how he's gotten such little time in jail or in prison based on all of his felonies. That, and of course, you can always go to the Florida Sex Offender Registry, type in his name, and boom, he pops up there as well. But that was all a misunderstanding. Of course, he's been a convicted felon since he was like 19, so he hasn't been able to join the military, nor could he ever. He did get a letter, a supposed letter from a recruiter, and I did verify that that recruiter was in Orlando back in that time frame. But the letter it wasn't military format. It wasn't, I can't see a professional U.S. Army or National Guard recruiter typing a letter like that for a court. Just don't see it. But let's get into a little bit more here.
The weird thing is that you think you know that. I served.
You have to listen really carefully.
12 years in the U.S. Army as a major.
Okay.
So,
First, thank you for your service.
Wrong, and there was an error because my brother was killed. I went home and got drunk at a bar, and a girl lied about who she was.
Right.
That doesn't change.
Not well, okay? Listen, you're not representing your company well right now, okay?
His company, a funeral escort company. Look at this uniform. Look at the uniform. Look at the U.S. Army marksmanship medal he's got on there, and I believe it was pistol and machine gun is what he had for the two ladders on there, the rockers underneath or the bars underneath. Yeah, no, he's not impersonating a police officer.
Security officer?
No, he's not.
You don't need to worry about who
Security.
I am. Are you cleared for that?
He owns this business.
Are you cleared for that? Sir, what's your GS level? Because I know what my military level was.
He knows what his military level was. It's nothing. He didn't have a military level, but he knows some of the keywords. GS level, you know, that's a pay grade for civilians who work for the government. And I'm not sure if that guy would have been a GS or not. He might have been a WG, a worker grade. I don't know. I don't know how all that works. But yeah. And I know this video is really hard to hear, but there's some more coming up.
Okay, we don't need to go through all
Okay,
that.
great. Are you an officer?
No, I'm not, but I work for Customs.
CP35,
You have a federal badge?
My badge is
somewhat.
Okay. Are you a federal agent?
I'm a federal employee.
Okay. Then step aside. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry. You can step aside.
Actually, you don't need
So what happened?
He's simply amazing the way he talks to people, talks down to people, typical narcissist, and, you know, a prolific liar.
I'm not even joking right now. What happens if you're walking down the street and like somebody comes running up to you, you know, there's an emergency or whatever?
Well, we would help.
Do you guys?
You better believe I would.
We would help.
That's still, that's,
All day.
You have to. Yeah.
I didn't
Human
Listen
nature.
closely.
I didn't serve 14 years in Iraq and Afghanistan to turn around and run away. That's why my business exists the way it does. So,
What department did you work at? You said you were
I was
police?
an Oviedo police officer.
Oh,
He just said he was an Oviedo police officer, but he's never impersonated a police officer. But yet he claims he was one.
Orlando.
Orlando.
Wow.
Yeah, Oviedo.
Okay.
Then I did the Army. I was young and dumb and I wanted action, so I joined the Army, was a Ranger, and then I went SF, and then...
A Ranger, then SF. Well, he's got one up on Kaiser. Kaiser says he was a Ranger, but Dewitte, he jumped straight from Ranger to SF.
My parachute didn't work right, my back got hurt, my brother got killed, and I drank and... Army.
His parachute didn't work, and he hurt his back. Supposedly, he jumped into Fallujah. There were no airborne operations into Fallujah. He's Jeremy Dewitte. What more can I say? But again, he's still living the lie. He's still spewing that shit to anybody who will listen.
Army? So was I. Where were you stationed?
I was Benning and then I was Bragg. I was originally a Ranger, 3rd Battalion out of Benning, and then I was 3rd Group out of Bragg.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you. What did
All right.
you do?
I was I had a lot of MOSs. I was 31B20, which was communications, and then I was 16F Foxtrot, which was the M42 Duster. That's why I wear the hearing aids. I was on that more than anything.
Uh-huh. Huh. Yeah, that was definitely probably different times.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
you know, but yeah, I was 18 series, so I was 18 MOS, so my last 6.5 years, 7 years almost.
Wow.
6.5, 7 years. He was at 18 series. Doesn't say which 18 series, just says 18 series.
So you jumped.
Oh yeah, I've been jump certified since I was 18.
Wow.
Well, he got jump certified at 18, and then he started jumping on minor children, hence the sex offender registry.
That's why I left the Army. I had a streamer. My riser popped when I was going into Fallujah. Basically almost destroyed my back to the point where I can't even get certified as a firefighter in the state of Florida. That's why I had...
Oh my God. He had a streamer. His riser. He doesn't even know what a fucking riser is.
I've never been a police officer.
Okay. Have you ever been in the military?
I have.
You were in what branch?
Army.
The Army. When were you in the Army?
I wasn't actually in the Army.
Huh? What branch were you in? The Army. Well, I actually wasn't in the Army. you can't make this shit up. And he's still, I can only imagine the stories he told while he was in jail. They had to be just unbelievable. Unbelievable. I can only imagine the stories that he told while he was in jail. That's why I'd love to see him and Kaiser get together. That'd be great. They could be bunk buddies and see who can outdo who with the stories.
I was actually certified and trained, and then I
No,
did private details.
No, what I'm asking you, have you ever been in
Never
the United
swore
States
into the United
military?
States Army.
You were
However,
never
the United
sworn into
States
the
Army
military.
trained me, and then the details that I
Yeah,
do.
but that doesn't make you in the
You're
military.
Right. Okay.
Okay,
So wait, so you're a contractor for the government? That would be the only way.
I was a contractor.
I was a contractor, and I've heard rumors that a certain Michael Kaiser has kind of said something along the same lines to some people, trying to validate his gunshot wounds, which are most likely, from what I've heard, the little scars he has are from possibly an arthroscopic type surgery. I got them on my left side. The right side, I got the big dig, but I've had both of my shoulders done. But yeah, I digress. Bingo.
Because I'm retired from the military, so
Okay.
that's why I did intel, so I kind of know about a lot of the
Great, Corp.
top secret clearance stuff.
Never had top secret clearance because I was a nobody and I was a felon.
Okay,
But
He was a nobody. That's probably the only true words he says in this entire interview, because he's full of shit. Full of shit. A farce. Full of shit soldier. But he was never a soldier. So you got to drop that last S off.
I do know that I did my times, and I did my times overseas, just where I met my wife in Egypt and things of like that nature.
So you were
He met his wife working at a cell phone booth in a mall, I believe. I mean, this has spanned so many years, and there's so much stuff out there. It's really hard to pick it all apart. As you can see, he's wearing a set of dress greens there as I can't tell if he was still a captain or if he had already self-promoted himself to major. But yeah, you would never see a special forces officer wearing the blue infantry cord. You'd never see him wearing a marksmanship medal. Officers usually don't do that. But he's got a ton of other shit, including that silver star on the top of his rack. And that's a clear violation of stolen valor. So we tried. We got the news media involved. I spoke with the state's attorney's office, but yeah, with all of this stacked up felony charges he had, nobody even wanted to think about trying to formulate the probable cause in order to go forward with a charge on stolen valor. But we're not going to let people forget.
worked for the federal government.
Never
overseas.
worked for the federal government. I worked for a
the
private
Army.
company.
So
Never in the Army.
like who did you work for then?
I worked for private companies that contracted us to do things overseas.
Yeah, give me the name of the company.
I worked for
Blackwater.
no, never worked for Blackwater.
There's Blackwater. There's Black Op. Did you work for Black Op?
No, I never worked for Black Op. Never worked for Triple Canopy. Never. It was not Dyna Group either. Dynacorp. I don't even remember. I went overseas for Egypt. Worked over there.
The only one he missed was one of the biggest ones. That's KBR. They did all the mess halls and stuff like that. Ran the laundries and all of that kind of stuff. But yeah, he can't remember who he worked for. But he was a contractor and he was overseas.
Worked with them, and
With Egypt.
that is correct.
Who was the contractor in Egypt?
It was U.S. protection. No,
So now he's just making shit up. U.S. protection. You know, I've hashed over all of this, but since I've got quite a few new subscribers and a lot of people that have subscribed over the Kaiser thing, I just wanted to show the Jeremy Dewitte stuff and that these guys never give it up. When they think they can get away with it, they spew their lies, just like Jeremy did with his little fender bender. And his girlfriend got the video, and because he was videotaping it, he videotapes all his own stuff as he is committing crimes. Go figure. Screwed up the video.
Bob never worked for Triple Canopy, never used for Egypt, worked over there and worked with them, and
With Egypt.
that is correct.
Who was the contractor in Egypt?
It was U.S.
So he
US
worked for a
protection.
contractor in Egypt.
No, it wasn't. I don't remember.
Okay.
It
What
was
did he
in
do?
2004.
In 2004.
I just was overseas.
So somebody trained you to do something to
I was
go
a nobody
overseas.
corporal.
If you were a
I
nobody,
love
then
that.
what did you do?
The company
You have a
trained you to
clearance,
do
so it's not
something,
like
to
you're
do
gonna tell me
something
about it.
somewhere, and you don't
It's
remember
okay.
who they are. Oh, yeah. Hey, guys. Yeah, there it is. There's the letter I got back February 6, 2020. NPRC said, who? Never heard of them. And because this was a special forces claim, of course, I reached out to Steve at Guardians of the Green Beret. And Steve reached out to some of his assets. They checked the Army training system, ran him by Social Security number, and his Social Security number is nowhere in the database. If you've ever attended any school for the military, for the U.S. Army or whatever, it would show up in the training system database. He's not in there. And then he tried claiming that he went to Ranger School in the Q course as a ROTC cadet. Yeah, he couldn't, even if he went to college, he says he did. He can't be an ROTC because of his felony convictions. So, it is what it is. I digress. Bingo twice. But I told you guys I would bring you a video on Jeremy Dewitte, and it's an ongoing thing. The more he pisses off his girlfriend, the more shit she's going to be posted on the YouTube channel. So I'll keep an eye on it, and I'll bring you updates. His biggest update is right now his court case is scheduled for 11 December down in Orlando. And he's facing multiple felony counts of fraud, insurance fraud, making a false claim, so on and so forth, which he videotaped. There was a motorcycle accident. He told the kid that was riding it to take off, and he impersonated the person who was riding the motorcycle that was in the accident with the taxi company, and filing insurance claims using the same photos from years past. And technology's a bitch when it bites you in the ass, because the metadata proved that there were fraudulent claims. Anyway, guys, if you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell and make sure you click all for notifications, because every now and then I'll just pop up with a live. You never know. And hit the thumbs up, helps the algorithm. And with that, all I could say is have yourself a great day.